So I want to get right to Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff for President George W. Bush, also, of course, a Fox News contributor. Karl, the latest Fox polling shows most Americans are concerned about inflation. Many think it's here to stay. And so what does that tell us about the White House, how it's trying to handle this?
Well, they're tone deaf, because if you went deeper, I suspect most Americans would believe that the principal cause of inflation, at least not the exclusive cause this time around, but the principal cause is too much money chasing too few goods. And part of that is a supply chain problem, but a big part of it is the government is pumping out money, spending money left and right. And as a result, we have on the demand side a bigger demand than normal, and it's chasing too few goods. And you take the combination of the disruptions of COVID and then the government spending money it doesn't have and borrowing from the future, thereby inflating the currency. You got prices at the pump and the grocery store that are gobsmackingly big.
Yeah, gobsmacking is a great word for it. You know what's interesting to me, Karl, is to your point, Americans actually had an epiphany, and I think it might have not only surprised Democrats, but most political watchers, when after that first tranche, that $1.9 trillion went out a couple months later, people were asked, you know, do you want this another tranche? And they said, no, it would hurt my family. I mean, I saw polls from CNN, NBC, The Washington Post. Somehow, I mean, I guess people saw it, right? You get a paycheck, you get a raise in your paycheck, you go to the store, you come out with fewer things, and yet the White House is still pushing that somehow if you let us spend more money, it will curb inflation. Are they too focused on PR rather than solutions?
Oh, absolutely. Look, the problem is the administration seems dominated by modern monetary theorists. MMT, as you know, that theory says it doesn't, you know, printing more currency, printing more money doesn't matter. We can run up as big a debt as we want, and there won't be any adverse consequences to it. And that's simply baloney. You can't do that in your family. You can't do that in your business. You sure as heck can't do it as a country, and you can't do it at the United States of America, where we are the reserve currency of the world. You cannot inflate the dollar without bad consequences, and that's what we've been doing. Think about it. The debt in 2008 was like $10 trillion. Today it is 29, I think it is, close to $29 trillion. In a relatively short period of time, we have gone way up on the debt limit.
And by the way, at least 50 U.S. cities are now doing universal basic income. A lot of them using the excess COVID funds to fund that. And just essentially, it's free money. You give people money without any sort of demands that they even look for work, and they say somehow that would cure our ills. Here's what I'm concerned about, though, because the White House is making it pretty clear. They're going to go after corporate America. They're blaming them for all of this. They're saying they're gouging, they're using, they're extorting. I mean, they've used some pretty harsh and ugly language about business and capitalism. Where does that path take us?
Well, I'm not certain it takes them in a very good political way. I mean, sure, that might appeal to sort of the hard left of the Democratic Party that distrusts free enterprise. But most people live in the real economy. They work for businesses where they're seeing firsthand the difficulty in dealing with prices that are rising and wages that are not moving up as fast. And they don't blame it on the business that they work at or even the people from whom they buy goods and services. They blame it for a bigger, more underlying cause, which is, again, the government is spending money it doesn't have, driving up demand, and we have too much money chasing too few goods because the value of the dollar is being diminished. The inflation is eating away at the purchasing power of the dollar. And people on some instinctive level get that. So if he's going to go out there, as I think they will, and blame companies for, you know, food companies for raising prices, the people who work in those companies know their companies are trying to do everything they possibly can to keep the price as low as possible in order to get market share. But they're not able to do it when everything, all of the inputs are costing them more. So on some level, people get how the economy works, and they don't, I think, generally fall for the kind of baloney the administration appears ready to offer.
We got manufacturing data on Friday, and the number one problem for the manufacturers out there was raw materials, even more than labor costs. I got 30 seconds, Karl. Where do we go from here? I mean, it looks like the Democrats are heading toward a quote-unquote shellacking. Could that also create a pivot?
It could. It could present. It depends on how how the administration reacts to it. If they lose, what Bill Clinton did and adjust to the new reality, or do they do what Barack Obama did, and that is dig in the heels and go into permanent warfare with the Congress? We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The Republicans and Democrats in the 90s were able to achieve great things by bipartisan cooperation, including welfare reform. But I'm not certain this president is inclined to cut deals.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Carl, great seeing you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.